Sine Irade. We give you all the glory, Father, Abba Father. We thank you. We praise your holy name. Now, permit me to do the needful as protocol demands. Let me introduce to you the commissioners and directors here and present. Once again, we are privileged to have with us here the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, our mother, our leader, Mrs. Jean Mensa. She's again flanked by her deputies, Dr. Bosman Erikasari, Deputy Chairman, Corporate Services. And then to her right, Mrs. Samuel Teti, Deputy Chairman, Operations. Next is Dr. Sri Bokwiku, Director, Electoral Services. Mr. Michael Bwedu, our pastor for this afternoon, Director, Training. Mrs. Samuel Bwedu, Director, Human Resource. Mr. Lawrence Sapon, Director, Administration. Mr. Alex Poku Akubia, Director, Research Monitoring and Evaluation. And my good self, I'm Sylviano, your moderator for this afternoon. Thank you. We'll go straight away to the presentation by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jean Mensa. Thank you very much, madam.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not sure you can hear because I have the... Good afternoon, distinguished citizens of Ghana. I warmly welcome you to today's Let the Citizen Know. Indeed, today is a great day, and we thank the good Lord for his faithfulness. We could not have come this far without him, and as a commission, we remain eternally grateful. Our words of exhortation as thus far has the Lord brought us. Today marks a historic day in our national calendar. It is the day before the 7th of December general elections. We say to God be the glory, great things he has done, and greater things he will do. This afternoon, we are here to give you, our distinguished citizens, an account of the work we have done to ensure a credible, fair, orderly, timely, transparent, and peaceful election come tomorrow, the 7th of December, 2020. As a commission, we recognize that we are accountable to the citizens of Ghana. And I'm pleased to inform you that by the grace of God, we are fully ready to conduct a successful, credible, fair, orderly, and peaceful election tomorrow, Monday, the 7th of December, 2020. Permit me to highlight the work done so far to achieve these results. Procurement of logistics. The Commission has procured a wide variety of election materials for the 2020 election. These include ballot boxes, thumbprint pads, identification jackets, polling station booths, rechargeable lamps, indelible ink, educational posters, and seals, among others. I'm pleased to note that as a result of a thorough planning and distribution process, we have distributed these items to all 38,622 polling stations across the country. For the first time in the history of the Commission, we printed and distributed all ballot papers for the 2020 presidential and parliamentary election some 2.5 weeks before the election. This early planning and distribution of our logistics has helped ease the pressure on our officials and has allowed the Commission enough time to strategize well ahead of the election. We believe this will improve the overall quality of the election. COVID-19 and the measures put in place to curb the spread of the virus at all polling stations across the country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are mindful of the fact that we are not in normal times. As such, we have put in place stringent safety protocols and procured the necessary items to guarantee the safety and security of all our stakeholders at our centers. We were able to test our safety protocols during the 38-day registration exercise, as well as the special voting exercise. This will be replicated on election day. Interestingly, we saw a decline in COVID cases during and after the registration exercise, and we believe that with the stringent measures put in place, we should witness such a decline after the election. Beyond the polling stations, we have also put in arrangements at all our collation centers to curb the spread of the virus. Projectors and screens have been provided in each of the 275 collation centers and 16 constituency collation centers, I beg your pardon, and 16 regional collation centers on which the results will be displayed. This will prevent the gathering of persons around laptops to view the collated results, thereby minimizing crowding and curbing the spread of the virus. We are confident that the training afforded our 38,622 plus COVID ambassadors will result in an efficient and effective implementation of our safety protocols nationwide. I'll turn my attention to the recruitment and training of staff. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, recognizing that the performance of our field officials is key to the success of the election, we provided a 3-week rigorous training program on all aspects of the election cycle to some 240,000 field officials. Additionally, for the first time in the Commission's history, all field officials have signed a binding and enforceable code of conduct to abide by the guidelines and directives of the Commission. We are confident that with the skills acquired and the codes of conduct signed, our field officials will deliver their functions efficiently and effectively and perform their duties creditably. Now to the biometric verification devices. As you may be aware, the Commission has procured 74,800 brand new biometric verification devices to enhance the integrity and credibility of the polls. The devices have been prepared and distributed to polling stations across the country. We are confident that the enhanced features of the devices will speed up the verification process and go a long way to ensure that only persons whose biometric details are captured in our system vote on election day. It is important to note that the device has a record of both fingerprints as well as the facial features of each unique individual. As a result, in the event where an individual has lost the use of his or her fingers, the facial recognition feature would be employed to identify the voter. We are confident that the use of both features will go a long way to enhance the integrity of the polls. Feedback from the recent special voting, which took place on the 1st of December 2020, indicates that the equipment functioned effectively and enabled the prompt verification of voters at all polling stations throughout the country. We believe that the efficiency of the kits will enhance the voters' experience on election day. Now to the 2020 Voters Register. Distinguished citizens of Ghana, as you may be aware, the Commission has prepared a new biometric voters register in time for the election. We are pleased to note that the register embodies unique individuals only. To date, the register has a total of 17,027,971 voters. And we are confident in the credibility and the integrity of the 2020 Voters Register. Last week, the Commission made the register available to the citizenry in 3 electronic formats to enable registered voters seamlessly check their details ahead of the election. We encourage voters who have not checked their details to do so, as this comes at no cost to the voter. Voters may visit the Commission's website at registers.ec.gov.gh and enter their 10-digit voter's ID card number on the website application to confirm their details. The second option available for checking a person's details is by using the short code provided, *711*2020#. Voters, by dialing this number, may on any phone and network and entering their voter's ID card and polling station code would have information on their registration details. The third option is to use an Android phone application whose link details are on our website. In all three cases, voters will receive confirmation of their name on the register, as well as their date of birth and their polling station code and polling station name. We are happy to note that the feedback from voters who have used this service has been very positive and encouraging. We have heard good news only, and this is a testament of the hard work and hours put in by the Commission staff, both permanent and temporary, to ensure a credible voters register. I'll turn my attention to the number of polling stations for the 2020 election. For the 2020 election, the Commission has created 38,622 polling stations across the country. This is some 10,000 polling stations more than the 2016 polling stations. The threshold set for the polling stations is 749 voters per polling station. It is important to note, however, that more than 70% of the polling stations have 500 voters or less. We have reduced the threshold to minimize overcrowding and long queues at our polling stations. We have no doubt that voters will enjoy a hassle-free and seamless experience at polling stations across the country. Now I'll talk about our call center. Distinguished citizens, in our bid to be responsive to the citizenry and to provide them with prompt and timely feedback on issues that may arise on the election day, we have established a call center to enable voters relay their concerns and feedback to the Commission. A toll-free number has been set aside for this purpose. The number is 0800 100 100. And I'd like to repeat this again, 0800 100 100. Voters will not be charged for making calls to this number, and the call center will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on election day. Additionally, callers may use any network to contact the Commission. The Commission has trained a number of its staff to be responsive to the needs of voters, and we are confident that the voters would have their issues resolved in a very timely manner. Misplaced voters' ID cards. This comes to inform the general public that any citizen who has misplaced his or her voter's ID card can still vote, as their details are on the biometric verification devices. As such, we entreat this category of voters to go to the polling station where they registered to cast their votes. Voters who have lost their voter ID cards can still go to the polling stations where they registered and cast their votes. This is because the Commission has their biometric details on the biometric verification devices. The provision of masks in polling stations in rural areas. In response to concerns relating to disenfranchised citizens who visit polling stations without masks, the Commission will provide masks in polling stations in rural communities to ensure the very rare voters who visit our polling stations without masks to be provided masks to enable them vote and exercise their franchise. This facility is restricted to polling stations in very rural communities only. Now to the declaration of results. Distinguished citizens, in our bid to reduce tension and suspicion around the election and to promote efficiency in our work, we plan to declare the results within 24 hours. This may seem ambitious to some, And some have also expressed concern about the accuracy of results declared just 24 hours after the election. On behalf of the Commission, I wish to assure you that the declared results will be a true reflection of the will of the people as documented on the pink sheets. The only aspect of our processes that has changed is the efficiency that we have built into them. We are confident that with the total commitment of all our officials, we will witness the timely delivery of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary results, God being our helper. It's important to emphasize that we have introduced another layer into the collation of results. In the past, the Commission was receiving results from all 275 constituencies. Under the current CI, that is CI 127, the Commission will now receive results from 16 regional collation centers. What this means is that every constituency in the region will send their results to the regional collation centers, and they in turn will collate the results from the regional collation sheets and the regional summary sheets and forward this to the Commission. Therefore, the Commission will not be receiving 275 results from the constituencies as it was in the past, and will be receiving results only from 16 regional collation centers. And we believe that with this approach, it really makes the work of the Commission much easier, because you are only receiving and collating 16 regional results. And that's why we believe that with the training also afforded our staff and the facilities made available, we should be able to declare results in the 24 hours. It is important to note that we are not engaging in electronic transmission. We are relying on the good old fax in addition to emails for the transmission of results. And this goes to assure the citizenry that we are not going to have figures going through some tunnel. What comes to us is a photo of the pink sheets, the collation sheets, signed by party agents. And this is the photograph that will be sent to us via fax or by scanned and sent by email. Posting of results on the website of the Electoral Commission. In our bid to keep our stakeholders informed and to provide them with accurate results before the final declaration of results, the Commission will post regular updates of results on its website. As you are aware, the results are certified results and may take a slightly longer time to upload because of the processes involved. However, we've put in place mechanisms to try to ensure a speedy and timely posting of results on our website. On the issue of security, a year ago, we started engagements with the National Elections Security Task Force, headed by the Inspector General of Police. We have had several meetings with them. In fact, just last week, we had a meeting, a high-level meeting with the security agencies as well. And to date, we have provided them with all relevant information, including details of our polling stations, collation centers, as well as possible conflict areas. We are confident that the arrangements of the security agencies will ensure law and order throughout our polling stations on election day and beyond. I'll turn my attention to the important issue of the declaration of results. By law, the Electoral Commission is the only body and institution clothed with the power and authority to declare presidential results. We therefore caution and parliamentary results as well. We therefore caution all stakeholders, particularly the political parties, to desist from declaring results. We have indicated our intention to declare the final certified results in a timely manner, and we will do so, God being our helper. We therefore call on all our stakeholders to remain patient and leave the Electoral Commission to perform its functions. Finally, our distinguished citizens, we cannot close our curtain today without expressing our sincere gratitude to all of you. You have kept faith with us and walked this journey with us. Your feedback has helped strengthen our work and processes and has left us in a much better place than when we started. We thank you very much. To our dear media partners, we thank you so much for partnering with us. It's been a long road, and you have worked with us to ensure that the truth and facts regarding our work are disseminated to the citizenry. We could not have come this far without you, and we say thank you and God bless you. We entreat you to remain true to your creed and your profession. At such a critical time in our country's destiny, the facts and truth only is what should be disseminated, and we urge you to remain decorous in all your reportage. As the chairperson of the commission, I pledge on behalf of the whole commission that we will remain true to our motto and operate with fairness, in integrity, and promote transparency till the very end, God being our helper. This is a final call to our staff in the field, all our field officials. Let truth guide you, and let integrity preserve you. We are sure all of you are distinguished citizens, that the results that will be delivered will reflect the will of the people and the will of the people only, as expressed on the ballots and on the pink sheets. Finally, I'd like to encourage all voters who turned up in their numbers to register to go out tomorrow, Monday, the 7th of December, and cast their votes peacefully. Let us remember that your vote is your power. Dear citizens, we urge you all to continue to pray for the peace of our dear nation. And before we close this session, I leave you with the words of the hymn, O God, our help in ages past. It says, O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal hope. May God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and strong. Let peace reign. Thank you very much. Go on. Oh, please give us the tune. No.
Do we have a choir master?
We are waiting. Yeah, please do.
Oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal hope. Oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal hope. Oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. We thank God for his grace and mercy. Hallelujah. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, for the comprehensive presentation. Now the floor is open for the very last time before the conduct of the election. And as usual, stay within the scope, no double-barreled question. You know about that, right? Yes. So kindly come this way if you may want. And seriously, if anybody should ask a question, kindly refrain from repeating the same question in another form. So please come this way. We all need to have some respite before the elections tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Sixtus Dongulo. I work for CTFM and CTTV in Accra. Madam, you talked about the total numbers on the voters register, but there was an issue with a number of them, 830. You were silent on that. Is it a case that the concerns have been resolved or the old arrangements remain? Can you tell us the fate of those 830 other voters?
My name is Nathaniel Nati, GBC Radio. You talked about the fact that the Commission is going to be providing masks for people who turn out to vote in rural areas where they show up without masks. How about the urban areas? What's going to happen to them as well? And what is your target, total turnout target? Because in 2016, there was 69.9 or so. So what's your target in terms of turnout in total?
My paper for the special voting, I read the paper. Thank you very much. Well, I think 6 to the 830 persons, as we mentioned in our previous press conference on Monday, they are persons who have been placed on a list called the missing names list. These are persons who registered, but for some reason or the other, their names are not on the voters' register and therefore not on our database. And in our bid to ensure that nobody who registered is disenfranchised, what we've done is to identify each and every one of them. After a thorough audit and reconciliation process, we went drilled down to the last person who registered to ensure that they are not disenfranchised. So what we have done is that their Form 1As and Form 1Cs, together with their names, are being sent to the polling station where they registered. And therefore, if they do show up, they would be allowed to be verified manually. These are persons who will fill the manual verification form because their names are not on the biometric verification device. However, as I mentioned, their manual verification forms at the polling stations, their details are there, their Form 1As and Cs are there, and they'll be allowed to vote if they do turn up, so they will not be disenfranchised. Now to the masks. We wish we could have provided it for all. And this is being responsive. It was not planned, but there have been some concerns about persons who may not be able to afford it, who may show up at some of the polling stations. And, in a bid not to disenfranchise them, we have made arrangements to have masks in those rural polling stations to ensure that should anybody appear without a mask, they will be afforded the opportunity to vote. However, we are of the view that with the extensive education that we have put out in 6 major dialects, local dialects and in the English language, so 7 in total, and it's gone down for the last 6 weeks, extensive education on our safety protocols and responsibilities of the citizenry as well. We are very hopeful that everybody will turn up with a mask or at best a piece of cloth covering their nose and their mouth. If I should take a cue from what happened at the special voting, we had a turnout of 87.8% turnout at the special voting exercise that took place, on the 1st of December. So we are hoping that we will have, such a turnout or higher, God being our helper and all things going well. But from the special voting, the turnout was 87.8. And if that is an indication, of how things are going to go, then we are expecting that for tomorrow as well, we should have such a high turnout or better. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. My name is Akko Moses. I report for Bloomberg. Think you note that you may need to give a bit of a caveat to your 24-hour self-imposed deadline for declaring the results? That history has taught that sometimes, out of inexplicable reasons, certain sections may delay, which may be so key that you can't go ahead to do the declaration. If you think a caveat may help, I'll be grateful to hear what it's going to be. And given the uncertainty of the situation, what modes of communication are you going to have? Because the exigencies of the moment may not necessitate a possibility of gathering us again as pressmen. So maybe a quick release here and there that is authentic, that we can know without necessarily having to come here, so that in time and on time releases for us to source and then quote in our real-time reportage may also help. And last question, if those who were supposed to have done the special voting, if for any reason they failed or they couldn't go to vote, what happens? Are they able to now go back to the original places to vote? How does it work? Thanks so much.
Thank you, Eko. I think with the intention to declare within 24 hours, it's not cast in stone, and it's not within a law. It is just to, with the mindset that if you have the results, why keep it? And a lot of effort has been made to ensure that the results will reach us in a timely fashion. We do have certain communities that are the riverine communities and so on, which have rivers crossing and separating communities. Some arrangements have been made to ensure that they are able to send the results to the collation centers and so on. But we are doing this with one thing in mind. If you do have the results, why keep it? Why hold a nation to ransom and keep a nation in suspense and you have the results? So there is just efficiency being built into the processes. If you are a presiding officer at a polling station and you've collated your results, within a certain time frame, you should be able to move it on. Not to say that, oh, I'm done, I'm going to have a beer at the bar, or I'm going to sit at the chop bar and give myself a big meal of fufu or something. You've got to move. And so this is what we all are responsible to labor, but it is not cast in stone. And therefore, if for one reason or the other, and I don't think that will happen, we are not able to achieve it, we are not falling foul of the law. But this is the intention. Yes. And then also, we would keep you abreast throughout the voting day tomorrow. We have a media center which will be churning out, responding to questions and concerns, and which would keep you abreast on issues that may arise. And of course, as I mentioned, we have the call center as well. But together we'll be providing you with periodic feedback. I did mention that the intention is to keep posting results as they trickle in and responses to issues on our website. We don't intend to go silent for 24 hours, but as and when the results trickle in, we'll be providing, the citizenry with updates on the results that are certified until the final declaration. So basically, that is what it is. And the special voting, unfortunately, those who had their names on the special voters list but were not able to exercise their franchise lose their right to do so, because their names are not reflected in the in the register. So that is, I felt bad that some people didn't go and cast their votes, because that list was advertised extensively on the website, and additionally copies were given, the soft copies were given to the various institutions that took part in the special voting. So unfortunately they lose their right to exercise their franchise tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, can I do a follow-up? Yeah, we are in an era of AI, what we call artificial intelligence. How are you securing the mail that you get to be sure that it is really authentic? In the midst of that, there's a word we also know, we call cloning. So in the midst of all these things, how do you authenticate that which is mailed to you? And then finally, we have been in this country where certain strategic ministries have had their websites hacked. How are you preparing? I don't want to wake up on Monday morning and the website of the Electoral Commission has been hacked. How are you preparing in all these things to ensure that you are secured enough to prosecute your agenda? Thank you very much.
I think a lot of effort has been built to secure the systems. And, I'm sure there's no system in the world that is 100%. But a lot of effort has been, put in to secure our systems, both with the emails to prevent this cloning and hacking of websites and so on. But I would not disclose those here. I'm sure that when we are done, we can, but a lot of effort has been put in to secure the systems. And I hope and I believe that because of what has gone in, we will not experience that.
My name is Favor Nunu with BBC Pigeon. And my question has to do with the fact that on election day, we know that sometimes people deploy their own quasi-security forces. We understand that there's a law in place to criminalize this. We didn't hear you address some of these concerns where some very exuberant individuals want to police the ballot and ensure that no scheming or whatsoever happens. What's the process in place to ensure that some of these things are done away with?
I think we have the security agencies in place, and I believe they have received a briefing. And the security agencies are aware that every party has an agent, one for presidential and one for parliamentary. And therefore, if you are not a party agent with the accreditation of the EC, bearing the EC accreditation card, you cannot hang around there to police the ballot. You don't have business there. So within the polling station and the collation centers, it is the EC officials who are properly clothed in their identification jackets with the logo, and the party agents who have the accreditation cards who are allowed in there. So I believe that a lot of briefing has gone on with the security agencies. We've had several meetings with them. I believe they have also in turn trained the officials as to what to allow and what is allowable and what is not. So we do not expect that persons who are not legitimate or who have not been accredited to be there would be there. And I'm sure that the police would perform their functions, creditably. And that's why we've engaged with them for a long time to discuss some of these arrangements with them, what is allowed and what is not allowed at the polling station and at the collation centers. And thank you.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Bismarck Nanopon. I work with Green FM in Accra. Madam Chairperson, I would like to ask, now that we are not in our normal times as usual, if the Electoral Commission is supporting or giving out nose masks in some rural areas, is it allowed that some political agents can also provide nose masks without their political colors in it? Thank you.
I think that by law, parties are not supposed to share items at the polling stations.
Without the political colors.
Yes,
colors,
and I think even this week we sent out a notice, to our staff cautioning them against receiving food items and beverages from party agents, even if it doesn't have any logo of the party. And it extends to, masks as well. They may do so in the communities outside the polling station. And I'm sure that is being done. They may do so outside the confines of the polling station. But within the polling station, they cannot share any item there because they could end up sharing pens and everything else and compromise the integrity of the poll. Okay. So they are not allowed to bring anything and share anything to anybody. In the community, they may, and that is allowable, that they may come in with plain masks without a party symbol and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ohiniba Kingsley, representing Untumi Television and Radio. You made mention of some political parties declaring their own results ahead of EC. Do you have any punishment for such group of people? We know last 4 years it happened. We know this year definitely it will happen. So do you have any stiff punishment for those groups?
There's no punishment. Well, we entreat the public to disregard any such announcement because nobody has the power. And also for the public to condemn parties that, fall foul of the law. I think these are very critical and delicate issues. And this is something that even the media must take very, very seriously and not tolerate because it could lead to confusion. So we entreat the public to ignore, such announcements because they can announce, but it's not a declaration. But even then, it is illegal for any party to announce that they have won an election. It's out of law. And we ask that our friends in the media will treat this with the condemnation that it deserves and not let it have the light of day. Because it is by law, it is the commission that has the power and is cloaked with the power to declare results. I think our laws must bite a bit more because we have laws without sanctions. And these are some of the challenges that we face, where you put in place laws, but there are no sanctions for people who go foul and fall foul and go contrary to the law. And I think in future, these are some of the things that we can discuss together with the political parties.
I think that this brings us to the end.
I think we can have two questions.
Two more, and that would be it. Yeah.
So thank you very much. My name is Kingsley Seydou from the Custodian newspaper. One thing that came out during the special voting was people actually screenshotting their ballot and then showing it via social media. So is there a punishment? Are we allowed to go there with our phones and screenshot and show through social media? Or is there a punishment for those who do that? Thank you.
I think she has given up. Yes. Good afternoon. Madam, please, I would want to know, my name is Julius. I report for the Ghanaian Times. I would want to know what is the parameters of a polling center, 500 meters away. What's the definition of a polling station, so that when people are there, they know that this is a polling station. I'm not supposed to do this or that. Thank you.
I think it's 500 meters away. That's the definition. And you should be, there should be a distance between, the polling station and any activity, some 500 meters away. And that's the definition. There was a question?
I think we have exhausted all the questions. Social, the cloning.
Oh, yeah. I think that's another thing that has come up. Unfortunately, there's no punishment for it. But we entreat citizens to be law-abiding. I mean, there's no reason why anybody should know your vote, and you should share with the whole public. And therefore we entreat them in the interest of the peace of our country. We entreat people to be law-abiding, and each of us has a role to play. However, we don't have any punishment for such persons. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All too soon, we've come to the end of today's Let the Citizen Know, edition of Let the Citizen Know. I believe all the salient questions have been asked. All the same, let me, on my own behalf and on behalf of the Commission, thank you for your reportage and wish you the very best tomorrow, having in mind the guiding principles of fairness and accuracy when you are reporting. I'm talking to my friends in the media. Thank you very much. On that note, let me once again call on our pastor for today, Mr. Michael Bodu, to seal today's briefing with a powerful prayer. Mr. Michael Bodu, thank you.
Thank you. Father, we thank you. We bless your holy name. We mention your name and there is victory, because at the mention of your name, every knee bows and every tongue confesses that indeed you are Lord. We lift your name for tomorrow. We go in your name, and whoever goes to war in the name of the Lord comes back with victory. That no matter how well the horse is prepared against the day of battle, safety, security, victory belongs to God. We pray, oh God, that you grant us a victory. As a nation, grant us victory. As a commission, grant us victory. In the name of Jesus. And anything that will disturb our peace, may the Holy Ghost arrest it. We thank you. We bless you. As you go home, take us safely to our very homes and grant us peace As I wake up tomorrow morning to go to this polling station to exercise our franchise. We thank you, for you are indeed a faithful and a loving Father. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Michael, with the Director of Training, for that powerful prayer.
So after about 45 minutes or so, the Electoral Commissioner, Madam Jean Mensa, has delivered her final presser prior to the voting, which is tomorrow, Monday, 7th December 2020. Now, she said a number of things. I'll wrap up or give you an idea of some of the main things she said, and then Duke and I will look at some of the issues raised and matters arising. You can send us a message via Facebook or Twitter. Just add the hashtag The Election Bureau when you send the message so we can see and read it. Or you can send the message via WhatsApp. The number currently is scrolling on your set. So first of all, she says the EC is ready to embark on tomorrow's voting exercise. Ballot boxes, we are told, have been distributed to all areas across the country. This was done some 2 weeks ago. So those in faraway areas have already gotten all they need to know by what the chairperson is saying. We're told that COVID-19 safety protocols have been put in place, and then the testing of whether the structure they put in place will work or not was done during the registration exercise as well as the special voting. So tomorrow we'll see whether what has been put in place proper will work. Also, screens will be set up across the country. You know, usually when the results are coming in, that's counting and all that, there are spots of people who crowd at certain polling stations, collation centers and all that. Now we're told screens to be set up across the country to avoid the crowding and to get people to know the results as they trickle in. We're also told that there's been a 3-week training of staff, field officials from the Commission. They've had some 3 weeks training to ensure they embark on the exercise properly. Also, they've been made to sign a code of conduct so that they abide by the rules of the game. Also, we know that 74,000 new verification devices were procured. She has reiterated that. And a lot of issues came up around if you've lost your registration card, or you've lost your, you can't find your something around that, you can still vote. The biometric device has your details in there, so you just go to the polling center, mention your name, they'll go through the system and then take your details, and then you can vote. So if you can't find your card, is missing, is lost, it was taken away by the floods or whatever happened, you can still vote tomorrow. Also, we're told that you can confirm your details via 3 means. On the EC's website, you can key in, there's a place you can key in your details, and then you can verify everything. There's also a short code that you can use. In a bit, I'll get you that short code, and you can try that as well. Now, we're told that call centers have been established as well. So if you have any concerns, you can relay it to those call centers. Now, the number for the call center, we are told, is 0800 100 100. So 0800 100 100. Basically 0800 100 100. 0800 100 100. So if you have any concerns during the voting day, that's tomorrow, you can send those concerns to that number or call that number. It's a toll-free number, so you wouldn't have to pay anything. Also, there will be the provision of masks at rural communities. Now, the definition of the rural community is something we'll be looking at when we start our discussion proper, but we're told rural communities will have the distribution of masks by the Commission to ensure that the safety protocols for COVID-19 are adhered to. Now, there was a question about whether political parties or other institutions can distribute the masks during the day. Now, we know that during the day you cannot do distribution at polling stations. So the chairperson says you can move far away from, I think it's about 500 meters or so from the polling station, and then you can do that distribution. But we'll be looking into detail on that matter as well. Now, the chairperson also reiterated a session of declaring the results within 24 hours. So within 24 hours, she's hoping to declare the results so that we move on with our lives. Also, results will be received from the regional centers, not from the various collation centers. So it will be received from 16 regional centers to the Commission. And the movement of results will be done manually via email and fax, So that's another thing that will be done by the Commission. And then posting of results will be done on the EC's website as well. And so during the day, you can check results on the EC's website. And we know that some 800,000 persons didn't find their names on the registration form. Now, we're told that those 800 persons can still vote. Their names are on another special form. They'll just have to do verify their details manually, and then they'll be allowed to vote. So if you're one of the 800,000 people whose name wasn't in the roll proper, you can still do that via manually when you get to the center. Just mention your name, they take you through the process, and then you are able to do that. Now, some interesting figure we're told with regards to the special voting, 87.7% turnout. Very high, very good, very encouraging. So the chairperson is hoping that tomorrow's turnout will be that good or even better. So we encourage everybody to go out to vote tomorrow. And then the EC says there will be the periodic feedback from it during the day. Remember, some 4 years ago, every 6 hours or 8 hours or so, there was the feedback or the announcements by the Commission. We're told this will happen. We're not sure which periods this will be done. We'll be looking at that matter as well when we start our discussions. And then those of you who registered for special voting and you are not able to do that, well, we're told that you have lost the right to vote. Unless you're part of the people who had challenges with your names and all that, that's a special case. But if you were supposed to vote, you registered for special voting, and you were not able to do that on the 1st of December 2020, you cannot vote. Tomorrow, you have lost that right to vote. So those are the key things that came up from the chairperson's presser this afternoon. I'll be right back. We'll start our discussions and also take your messages as well. Don't go away.
Ghana goes to the polls on December 7th, and City TV gets to work. From 6 a.m. on December 7th, bringing you all the action and reports with our correspondents covering all 275 constituencies. Be assured of exhaustive and definitive coverage of Ghana's 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections. Our team of seasoned journalists will dissect the issues and give minute-by-minute account of the election. Bernard Avler, Vivian Kai Loko, Kojo Akoto Boateng, Godfred Akoto Boafo, Nathan Kwao, Frema Edunyame, Abena Nyameche Ampedu, Salom Adonu, Umaru Sanda Amadou, Zoe Abubedu, Duke Mensa Opoku, Nana Tufo, the Election Bureau, Ghana's election covered. Coverage starts at 6 a.m. on December 7th on City TV and 97.3 City FM.
Comprehensive news. The City Newsroom at 8 p.m. on City TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very oh, that's too bad. The youth are still throwing stones. They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondents covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichekopi and Balekopi communities in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region.
City Newsroom at 8 p.m. Very fluent with issues that concern you.
This is quite a car for Mr. Rabbi. Someone is here, but told you kind of a 1 week. What do you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for Choco!
With City Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us, we are very sorry about this school. If we went to see the children, they are so small. Even my grandchildren are there. My grandsons are there. If they come out from the school, how will be easy?
Every day at 8 p.m., City Newsroom is live on City TV.
Representing a country is no small feat. How have you managed trying to learn all the different nuances of all the different cultures in the Ghanaian culture?
Well, you know, it's something I wish I could have done more. I wish I could do more on. You know, clearly, you know, pick up kind of various kind of tree phrases, not least the easiest one of which is Mote Brofo.
View the lives of the diplomats in Ghana through their very own eyes and see how they make Ghana their home.
I have had a very good tour of duty in Ghana. Ghanaian people are wonderful people, very warm and humble.
My first exam in Arabic, I didn't do too well.
Okay.
And I had to organize with myself and ask myself, do I actually want to continue this? And is there a possibility that there are likelihood that I may not do too well in the language?
This is the Carnival of Montevideo, where they play a music which is called candombe, and candombe is played on these tall drums that you see here, and it's totally African.
And you see the people are black, and they're even dressed like people from maybe the northern parts. They're holding the drums like some Ghanaian drummers would do.
Exactly.
First time I went to the Black Star Square. It's very, has a lot of energy there.
Join me, Apioko, on Diplomatic License every Saturday at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
So welcome back to our special coverage of the press conference, the last one before the election by the chairperson of the EC, Jean Mensa. I'm here with Duke Mensa Opoko. We'll look at some of the issues raised. We'll be wrapping up at the top of the hour. I've seen your messages. I'll be taking them in a bit. But Duke, what struck you in all that she said?
First of all, I think that it's reassuring that, I mean, going into this crucial election, the Electoral Commission, the hierarchy at least, seems to be very, relaxed, and they seem to have a well laid out plan for what they intend to do. And they need that. We all need that, because the next couple of days, depending on how it goes, is going to be quite rough for them. In terms of the hours, the processes, rolling them out, how they are going to deal with all the stakeholders and the rest. So it's important for the citizenry to be assured that those who are going to be overseeing this critical process, very key to our governance at this point in time, are this prepared and they are ready to roll out the processes. Couple of things. So there are 3 parts to this electoral process: before the election, during the election, and after the election. So what we've seen over the period leading up to tomorrow is the before the election, and the Electoral Commission has, gone through a lot of, let me see, I wouldn't use the word pain, but they've gone through a lot of, some sort of challenges bringing us here. The insistence on getting a new voters register, it wasn't the most popular decision they took, but they stood their grounds, and they've been able to bring us this register, which has over 70 million Ghanaians on it. So that's kudos to them. Then they got to do with the exhibition exercise as well. Came with all of its challenges. We've gone through that hurdle. Now we are of course, and then we've done special voting, where today we are learning that close to 90%, 87.8% turnout, which is quite huge.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that is going to be replicated, because this was just 109,000 people, 109,522 persons on the special voting, and we got 87.8% compared to the 17 million that we'll be looking at tomorrow. So I'm not sure we're going to get an over 87%, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
We do. It should be a good turnout. People should be encouraged to go out to vote.
Yes, especially with tomorrow being a holiday. Yes, with no work commitments and others. Yeah. Another thing is it's also refreshing to note that the Electoral Commission says they've delivered material to all the centers, polling stations, over 38,000 of them 2 weeks ago. So tomorrow we are not expecting to hear from a reporter in Donkokrum or in Afram Plains or somewhere in Hamili that voting has not started because they don't have election material. If voting does not start at 7 a.m., it should be due to something else other than voting materials not being present.
Yeah.
Because if what we are told today is anything to go by, then it means that in terms of deployment of logistics and other materials, the Commission is ready. I also think it's important that the Electoral Commission has assured us once again that those who don't have cards, misplace their cards. Even between today and even tomorrow, someone could just misplace their cards. You still have the opportunity to do that. One thing which I think the Electoral Commission did not do very well today with this presser to explain is the categorization of what a rural polling station is.
That's right.
Is it by virtue of the demographics? Is it by virtue of the economic indicators? Is it by virtue of location setting? So how do I go to the polling center expecting to get a face mask or not
if I don't have one?
So a place like Sansam or Damrobe or wherever in the Greater Accra region,
rural area,
yes, per every stretch of imagination, in terms of economic indicators, in terms of infrastructure, you would classify these places, even though within the greater scheme of things in the Greater Accra region, it's in an urban setting, but it's a rural area. So do those people go to the polling centers expecting face mask or not? I think that's a part of it that we didn't get. There was a question, but that question was not pointed enough to elicit some form of a response which we could work with. Another thing is with regards to the updates that we're expecting from the Electoral Commission. I think it's ambiguous, it's vague for the Commissioner to say that, or for the Chairperson to say we should expect just regular updates on the website or, in person. Sometimes, if you organize press briefings, and there's been precedence to this. In 2016, every 6 hours, we were told right from the start, every 6 hours we should expect a briefing from Charlotte Osei, the Charlotte Osei-led EC then. And after that, she took questions where, it's different just taking the information from the EC's website and different getting the information and questioning the person who's at the top, who has, all this gamut information, questioning the person and eliciting response. Those are two different things. So I think that the EC has that opportunity to tell us. And this is an EC that scores an A for me when it comes to transparency.
Okay.
Yes, we've not been used to the kind of data the EC has churned out in a very long time. That's for that. They score an A for me. As of today, we can analyze the figures, and it's even helped with polling and research and data and analysis. It's an A for me.
Okay.
But they should cap it all up with this, telling us exactly within which time frame we are going to get that. Is it 6 hours? Is it 5 hours? Is it every 8 hours? What kind of briefing are we to expect? And this business of regular updates on websites and issuing out statements, it doesn't cut it for me.
Okay.
It's different having the person behind everything, sitting there, questioning the person to get the kind of answers that we got this afternoon. Last thing, I've been reading very good articles about our democracy on the Financial Times, on New York Times, on the DW, on Reuters, and the rest. This is the only democracy we have, and it behoves on all of us to be able to protect. The Kenyans are saying we are show-offs. Why? Because we are going into an election and no opposition leader has been attacked, nothing. They're saying we are just show-offs. And this is the most boring election here. Yeah, so we owe it to ourselves, this great duty to make tomorrow work.
Duke, we have to wrap up. Thank you so much. Duke Mensa Poko, he joined me for a special coverage of the presser done by the chairman of the Electoral Commission. Let me say that from tomorrow, 6 a.m., we start a special coverage of Election 2020. Remember, this is the Election Bureau. Will bring you all you need to know analysis. We are across the country, the 275 constituencies, every corner around the country. My name is Vivian Kai Loco. We have more news at 8 o'clock this evening. Stay with us and don't change your dial. Goodbye.
This Sunday on the Upside Down Show, we hear from a Reverend Father and social activist, Reverend Father Stephen Sepaku, who is spreading the word and inspiring many in the Afram Plains. And later, we have a conversation with award-winning film and stage actor, lecturer and family man Ajit Anand on life, movies and elections right here on the Upside Down Show. This Sunday at 7 p.m. only on City TV. Upside Down is proudly brought to you by Vodafone Ghana.
The future is exciting. Ready?
Footprint is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping